Hello, Mioni here, and well, I guess mostly for my own benefit in the future so I can remember this moment, I want to show how powerful in the open beta Necromancer actually was. So we've created a character yesterday and I've played it up to 25. We've got ourselves some legendaries, which I think you'll agree look amazing. Look at that shield, that is absolutely gorgeous. So this is our Necro. We're going to log in on world level 2. And I will show you, well, I will show myself mostly in the future so I can look back on this and go, I wish it was like that now. But yeah, it's pretty strong. Obviously, the open beta is this weekend. It finishes tomorrow at the time of recording because this is Sunday. But yes, it was open to as many people as humanly possible, which is why, obviously, it's taking a big strain on the game's processes. So let's go and just briefly, for my own benefit in the future and for yours if you don't know about this, show you what Necromancer was like, I guess. It's really weird making a video in the past tense, even though it's the present for me at the moment, but I really doubt they're going to keep it this way. So as you can see, this is our setup. Pretty good, actually. We've got loads of legendary items. We've got Consuming Corpse, gives 27% chance to give a blood orb. Not particularly useful for this. We've got when hit while not healthy, a magical bubble is summoned around you for 5 seconds, making people who stand in it immune, which is actually pretty good. I quite like that. We've got hands that have basic skills, give you 33% attack speed. Yeah, it's all right. That's pretty cool. We've got damaging an elite enemy grants you a barrier, absorbing up to 429 damage for 10 seconds. Yeah, it's all right. Feet. This is a good one, actually, for the Vicious Adventurer's Boots. We've got the maximum number of skeletal mages increased by 2. This is big because, obviously, what you can do with the Book of the Dead, with your mages, if you set them into cold, you can get basically your essence, which is what you use for your main attribute, back much quicker. So if you're looking for ways of restoring essence, go mages and try and find something that increases it by 2. It's awesome, isn't it? A lot of the increase, the amount of skeletons you have, is always going to be the way to go, I think. Then we've got a weapon. This is not a particularly great weapon. Blood Mist leaves a trail that lasts for 4 seconds, dealing 88 shadow damage per second. Your movement speed is no longer reduced. Yeah, that's a good one because we're going to be using Blood Mist a lot in this, so I quite like that, just as a speed increase. The shield, it's just armor stacking, nothing too crazy. I quite like the thorns on that. It is a beautiful looking shield though. Then we've got the Ring of Frenzied Dread. Each time one of your summoning minions damages an enemy, they gain 13% attack speed for 3 seconds, up to 39%. Quite like that. Then our other ring, which we've just got a resistance all elements gem in there, is Bone Spear's primary attack. Makes enemies hit beyond the first vulnerable for 2.1 seconds. Bone shards from Bone Spear deal 80% bonus damage to vulnerable enemies and pierce them. This is a really good affix. That is a really good legendary. So, as you could probably tell, before we get onto our necklace, which is what's broken, we're already pretty strong as it is. Even without legendaries, this is the setup I went for personally. So what we've got is 5 points in Bone Splinters. I've then gone Enhanced Bone Splinters and then Acolyte's Bone Splinters. I've then, ignore these because it's just from having stuff equipped, it gives you 1 rank. I've gone 5 into Bone Spear. Bone Spear is really strong on the beta. Then I've gone Enhanced Bone Spear and then Paranormal Bone Spear because it shatters and it increased critical chance. It's really good. And then we've gone Blood Mist. I've only put 3 points into this, honestly. Probably could do with putting more into it, but you don't need to. Then I've gone 5 into Corpse Explosion, and then specifically this one is really good for this setup. The Enhanced Corpse Explosion for 15% increased radius. You'll see what I mean with that. Then we've gone 1 into 3 Essence, and then that's mostly so we can get fueled by death, because this gives you a 12% increased damage buff only for 4 seconds every time you consume a corpse, which consume a corpse means explode it or do whatever. So it's quite a good one. then that's pretty much it. The rest of the the abilities, not interested in. Obviously, we've only had 26 points to spend, and on the beta, that's all we had access to. And you might think, well, you're only 25. How did you get the 6th one? Basically, by doing this, you get a skill point for doing your renowned stuff, and we only had access to the fractured peaks, right? So anyway, now we come on to the simple truth of the matter, of what makes this particularly explosive. This is the explosive mist affix, right? So blood mist triggers corpse explosion on surrounding corpses, and when blood mist detonates a corpse, its cooldown is reduced by 1.8 seconds. Now this is on a necklace. If we had this on a weapon, if we were to extract that and place that on a weapon, it would actually be higher than that, the cooldown reduction. So you can take affixes off of things and place them onto other items, but depending on where you put them, and there are some restrictions of where you can put them, it actually increases the value of those. Necklace is a great place for this, and so is weapon, right? So if I didn't have this and I got a weapon, I wouldn't be sad. I see a lot of people using two-handed weapons like scythes on the beta. Great idea. I just went with whatever I had. I kind of like having the ability to have 2 separate affixes though, rather than just one on a weapon, because it gives you an extra slot, right? Gives you something else to have. That's my only thing. But anyway, we're going to show you what this is like with corpse explosion. And we'll do a couple of things. We'll take off the weapons, like armor, to show you how powerful it is. We'll take off the necklace. There's lots of rubber banding in this beta test. It's frankly 10 times worse than the previous paid beta, let's call it that, where you had to either go to KFC and get a double down burger in America, an O2 promotion in EU, or you had to pre-order the game, right? Which is what I did. Because I was looking forward to this game a long time ago. So this is an event. Just lower the volume of things. Right, so we've killed a mob. We kind of overkilled. What makes this powerful then is once the first one is dead, we can go into blood mist. I mean, the packs aren't going to be dense enough. Let's just kill one of these fellas. There you go. Watch this. It just explodes, just forever. It's probably not the best demonstration of it, but we had a lot of fun on the... There we go, that's better. Doing this live and actually talking at the same time is not easy, but you get the idea, right? The explosion is reset. The more corpses we explode, the more we have, you know, and the more dead bodies there are, the more damage we do, etc. Right? But this is just with bone spear, as you can see, very strong. Yeah, even if we didn't have a corpse explosion, we'd still be wrecking things. The idea is that when things are dead, that becomes a landmine, right? But a lot of people think that the this particular legendary will be nerfed, which it makes sense that it would, right? I mean, this is quite powerful. I mean, I could literally go AFK though, really, regardless of the fact, because of the minion strength as well. But if we pop one of these guys and we blood explode these, as you can see, yeah. And this is just me on my own. But what a lot of people are doing, even aside from that, the other thing that makes Necromancer so powerful is just how much passive damage you do. And a good demonstration of that would be to do a dungeon. So let's go just do a dungeon. I don't know, any will do. Again, we're doing this live. But you can see the blood explosion amulet, quite powerful, right? But let's say we didn't have that. Let's unequip. Let's just unequip everything, right? We're just going to go with a basic weapon. We've even lost our 2 extra mages. I don't care, right? This is just basic Necromancer, okay? With a weapon. I guess I don't want to take the weapon off. Maybe we could put just... Let's just put a garbage 2-handed weapon on. Here we go. Right, so this is the most basic thing ever, right? This is just a level 14 2-handed scythe that we just found on the ground. Let's see. How powerful is Necromancer? Okay, with our setup. So again, we've got bone splinters and bone spear. Okay. I would say that's pretty strong, wouldn't you? With no gear on. So people who are trying to defend it and be like, oh, but you know, you're just not playing barbarian well enough, and it'll grow up to be like a supremely awesome thing. My previous video from my last weekend proved that barbarian, whilst really enjoyable, once you play something else afterwards, it just feels so undertuned. I mean, even without the minions, right? Even without them, look at Bone Spear's damage. Again, we're not wearing anything. Now, I know that everything in the beta is not representative of the final version, right? But I see a lot of people saying, oh, it's perfectly balanced, and you just need to get legendaries to make Druid and Barbarian fun. Okay. Okay. That's a fair point. It's a fair point. But even at level 4, I was doing this sort of damage. You know what I mean? Because it all scales. Whereas on Barbarian, it was taking me like 6 years to clear through packs like this. Well, exaggeration, right? But we're not wearing any gear. I'm not using the blood explosion thing. I'm not even using anything other than Bone Spear, which you can get at level like 2 or whatever, level 4, let's say, right? The minions alone, like, look, let's just not attack them at all, right? Let's just walk around in a circle. Use this as a speed buff. That's quite helpful, actually, for the purposes of recording. Just aggro something, and then let the mobs handle it. I've taken my hand off the keyboard. As you can see, no inputs. There's an elite that's just spawned with 3 affixes. What affixes are those? So it's got fire, enchanted, terrifying, killing wound. So he's not interested in me. Okay, we died that time. But that's what it takes. But if I had armor, you know, because the minions, right, they gain benefits from your armor value, right? So let's just quickly go and resurrect my army again. It's a little bit unfair, I guess, for me to just stand here wearing nothing, right? So let's put our gear back on, right? I think that's fair. Okay, so gear's back on. We actually have an armor value. So now these guys have scaled up. Again, we're not going to attack though, right? We're not going to touch this guy. We're just going to walk close to him. Or if he's still alive. Okay. I don't know where the elite's gone now. Oh, he's further north. Well, let's create a shield. But anyway, what we're doing is witnessing the AFK damage of the minions, right? Because it scales off your armor and stuff like that, right? Okay. So let's aggro this guy and then stand away so that he doesn't annihilate me. There we go. Right, go my minions on the side of the screen. Let's just pop a potion because, yeah, there we go. Again, not doing anything. Oh, it's feared me away. That's annoying, actually. That's the most annoying thing about this, isn't it? The fear. Oh, we've actually pulled 2. Again, I refuse to attack. Let's just let the dudes do some work. This is not your atypical pack, is it? 2 elites like this. But again, we're not pressing anything. And their survivability is based on my armor, right? And, you know, armor values increase with just items. You can get this on yellow items, anything, right? It's nothing. So that's 1 dead, and that's 2 dead. Did I do anything? I popped a couple of potions because of the spoiled ground. Got myself a new legendary there. Quite nice. Let's try another pack. But, you know, I think it proves the point. Oh, right, we ran out of minions. That's the other thing, right? But this is not something to, oh, well, this isn't endgame. Right, that's fine. And I completely agree with that. It is not endgame. That's true. But is it not true that everything scales? Isn't the experience going to be quite similar, regardless of what difficulty level? I don't know. You let me know. I don't know. Did we miss a sentry? Oh, we did. Okay. But yeah, honestly, my first thoughts about Necromancer were very fun, but very broken. And it's just, I know that things aren't going to stay like this. There's no way things are going to stay like this into the future. I wanted to capture the moment though. But let's go back to actually pressing buttons. That bone spear though. So strong. Ooh, another amulet. That's nice. And then we go. Landmines! Very nice. I will say though, I can't play my barbarian anymore. That's the problem. Like after playing this and playing sorcerer as well, I can't go back. It's just going to be based on a pure time investment, right? I love the aesthetics of barbarian. I like hitting things with big weapons, smashing them to pieces. You know, I played a lot of monk in D3. I played a bit of barbarian. You know, it's night and day, isn't it? But, you know, hopefully it keeps it. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm having a lot of fun. I just know what Blizzard's like. It's not going to stay this way. But it is a lot of, maybe too much fun, right? If that's possible. Oh dear. Again, we need to see what it's like on Torment and stuff, but the thing with Blood Mist is you're basically not getting damaged whilst you're in Blood Mist, right? They can't attack you. And because of the cooldown reduction, like, and the sheer damage, like, my minions will kill something and then I will use the corpse. I mean, you can also get stuff that adds more corpses, right? It spawns more corpses. That's one of the other builds I've seen people do, which just makes that even more powerful, which is awesome. I mean, that is fun. Let's reset the CD on that. But even when we're not using the blood thing, just hold right click and instead. There we go. But yeah. Like, I think my point is I don't want them to make it unfun. I want them to make Barbarian as fun. I want them to scale it the other direction, right? Not necessarily take the fun away from people. Because this is only, what, world level 2 basic stuff, right? It's not good representation, as everybody will agree. But it's not the affix from a legendary that makes Necromancer fun. Like, even without the necklace on. Where's the... Oh, it's up here. But even without that necklace on, we're still, you know, we're still able to chow through things. It is very strong. And we can still use normal corpse explosion, right? Like that. Yeah. I just don't have anything else to say other than this is incredibly enjoyable. But I have a fear that other people will definitely feel that... I mean, you've got to remember, this game is trying to do the whole PvP thing. PvP in Diablo's never really, in my opinion, been, like, successful. So, how many Necromancers are you going to see in PvP in comparison? Yeah. But anyway, there's a rumor going around that this is an incredibly early version of the game and not the one that's much closer to completion internally. Again, that is just a rumor though, but I have to try and believe that is the case. But yeah, Necromancer gameplay. It's kind of, you've probably seen it a million times this weekend, but this was more for my own benefit so I could remember what things look like and the sheer destructive power of legendary affixes. Did I put the wrong place? Yeah, I did. Pure bliss, isn't it? I think it's the sound effects that make it more interesting. There's also some other things you can do as well. If you don't like the sound effects, you can put them into you can make them into a slowed down area thingy, or you can even turn it into like a miasma instead of an explosion, which is interesting. So you can make like puddles on the floor, which is probably going to be better for bosses, right? If you can just fill a room full of puddles. So this like just the explosions are better for like your trash mobs, I guess. But yeah, it's just insane, isn't it? I love it in every single way. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the beta weekend. I found that it has been the therapy that I never knew I wanted from a game, because as you know, if you've followed me for a long time, I play a lot of Final Fantasy 14, right? But this is the perfect game for people who just want something extra to do, right? Something to do to fill the gaps. That's the sort of game angle I would approach this at. However, this could be easily someone's main game as well, right? But the only thing that worries me about this game so far is what the eventual game plan will be for the cash shop. And obviously the battle pass and stuff like that. The monetization is worrying. I say worrying because one of the things on the beta, I've just walked away from town, but I want to talk about this. One of the things in the beta is adding sockets, right? To add sockets into gear, you need a specific item. Wow, the rubber banding is just abysmal, isn't it? I didn't mean to click on the brazier. Yes, there's a specific item that only drops off world bosses, right? And you've got like a weekly lockout on the world bosses. I think there's going to be like 4, maybe more than that, but about 4 world bosses based on the zones that are on the map, at least at the time. I could be completely wrong. We're going to look back on this video in the future and be like, what? And that spawns over here. And I didn't get to kill this because we ran out of time yesterday. But they're on a weekly lockout. But we think that the weekly lockout disappeared or bugged out. But anyway, the point is, if you want to create sockets in gear, I went to the wrong person again. This is the jewelry person. You need a specific item. Now, obviously, if you've got a nice set and you want to, it didn't come with a socket. Let's say I wanted to put a socket in, I don't know, this helmet. I need these things, scattered prisms. Now, the thing that worries me is because at the moment they've not showed us any monetization at all. I have a feeling they're going to put these scattered prisms into the battle pass or into the convenience-sized sort of store. And the reason I think they would do that is because technically from their position it wouldn't be pay to win, because you would be able to acquire those things in the game, right? It would be more of a convenience option, because then, if you don't have the ability to do those world bosses this week, or you don't want to log in and do your weekly, then you could get it through money. And it's a slippery slope, right? It's a slippery slope. I've seen lots of other games do something very similar to this. Lots of MMOs do this. And for all intents and purposes, this game is now an MMO, right? We've got PvP, we've got open world stuff. I don't know if there's open world PvP zones. I really hope there isn't. But again, I know very little about this game coming from the previous, Diablo games. But there are lots of interesting things that could be put behind a wall if they wanted to, that technically they'd be fine with, because you could get them in the game, right? But it's pay for convenience is the slippery slope, I think. So just a word of warning. if you're thinking of trying this out. For example, where is it? Is it the craft sigils? Is it re-rolling? Ha, here we go. So let's say we got a really brilliant item and we wanted to re-roll one of the stats. We'd come over to the sigil guy, go to enchant item, plop it in, and let's say we didn't want the willpower. If we wanted to re-roll that, it costs the veiled crystals, which you can just get from just chests and everything, really, killing stuff. And then it comes with this called a Fiend Rose. Now, specifically, that comes, I think, from a level 3 world. So there are certain materials that only appear on certain difficulties. And if you are the sort of person that only wants to play on a certain difficulty, you're not going to have access to the things that you need. However, this is something else that you could feasibly see added to a convenience store, right? So yeah, there are concerns, and it's Blizzard Entertainment, and I think most people agree it's a fair point to be on edge about Blizzard's practices. They have a history of paywalling things. I mean, look at Diablo Immortal. Need we say any more? But yeah, I'm quietly optimistic. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens from this game, and if you've seen any of my live streams, you'll know that I'm very excited, and I have pre-ordered the game, and I am, you know, you should never pre-order games, people say, and I agree, but this is certainly something that I couldn't really resist. I'm sorry, I needed to try it out. You know, action RPG sort of stuff is my jam. It really is. Also, I'm looking forward to seeing how many other pieces of glamour or transmog they add, even to the battle pass. Like I'm hoping that the battle pass, you know, naively, will be cosmetic stuff, because this stuff is awesome, and I love collecting like the various designs of things. And like I'm looking forward to the seasonal gameplay as well, if they decide to go with seasonal stuff. You look at that tower shield. That's awesome, dude. Like a gold buckler. Oh my goodness. So cool. Amazing stuff. Anyway, I'm going to end the video there. Let you enjoy the game yourself. This is more of a video for myself in the future, like I say. But yeah, definitely excited to see what happens next. But there are always worries. This will either be a completely pointless worry, hopefully, or in the future I'll be like, yep, you were right. I don't value that. I kind of look like Scorpion. Accidentally created a Scorpion from Mortal Kombat glamour slightly here. There we go. Anyway, much love. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.